I saw an article today, and I hate reading this shit. And you know where I'm going with this, I think. But uh, the website Screen Rant,
Oh, fuck that.
yeah, I fucking hate that website. But every now and then they get me with one of the goddamn little clickbaity articles, and I had to read this because they called Abigail a remake of a 39-year-old John Hughes classic.
Not the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
No, what?
Yeah, they were saying this is the horror version of the Breakfast Club.
Be a really weird. No.
If I didn't love my phone so much, I would have thrown it after reading this article because it's so idiotic. If you want to become a member, check out our website at deathcursesociety.com. Check out the membership section. You can do it for as little as the price of a cup of coffee once a month. All right, before we get into the business at hand, of course, we have to thank our members, our final girls and guys, Chris, Lorena, BD, and Tyrone, our Crazy Ralphs, Dr. Smiley, Raymond, and the whole damn enchilada pod. And, of course, our camp counselors, 42nd Street Pete, Corey, Luke, Michigan Dave, Jimmy and Rachel, Stacy Lynn, Orlando, Patricia, Kristen, and JJ. Thank you, everybody. That's still cutting out weird?
Yeah, that still ain't right.
Before we get into what we saw of Abigail, I always like to discuss the anticipation of the films before we go and see them. I'm going to start with this one because this was one that I've been looking forward to since I heard about it, because I do like kid vampires, and it's been a while since there's been a good one. I think anyway, that I can remember right off the top of my head anyway. Unlike Ziggy, I haven't done my homework for next week yet. The roles are reversing for some reason.
No. I had a couple of weeks down before the busy season takes off again. I took advantage of it, man. I've been fucking just all DCS the fucking last 10, 11 days, you know?
Right. But, dude, I've been pumped for this one. I do like what Radio Silence has done with, especially Ready or Not. I wasn't a huge fan of the direction they took with the Scream franchise when they got it around 5 and 6, I guess.
Wasn't horrible though.
It wasn't terrible. It was a good way to bring new life to it. The first one was okay, minus one major weird plot device that they used. But I was interested in this one because it had a lot of things going for it that I was interested in. Giancarlo Esposito, love that guy. Interested to see what Melissa Barrera could do with a different kind of role. And like I said, I like watching child actors, if they're good. So this one was up on the anticipation scale for me. You know, I was really pumped for it. How about you, Ziggy?
Just the opposite. I've been beaten over the head so many fucking times this past couple of years with just thuds of just, it could have been great, but just fell short. So I wasn't going into this one. I was kind of like, whatever, man. You know, here we go again. No Blumhouse. You know, so I mean, that's already, we're already winning. Yeah, we're already winning. So yeah, I just going into it, I was kind of just like, I'm not expecting much. I know what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a lot of blood in a vampire movie. I want to see some bites. I want to see some fucking crazy, scary vampires, man. That's what I want. And going into it like that, I was just like, fuck, man. But I'm absolutely tortured, waterboarded with these bad fucking movies we have to go see. So I just thought this was going to be another one for the fucking heap. Completely honest, full disclosure. What'd you think, Faze?
I don't know. I wasn't sure what to think.
Oh, just kidding, just kidding.
I remember seeing the trailer. That was good. I wasn't really sure about it. Like, I remember there being a lot of hype and me being a little confused by the hype because I don't know, it just didn't seem like that exciting of a film. But I don't know, it ended up being a really fun film. It exceeded my semi-low expectations going in. But I did watch it after you guys watched it, and you guys were hyping it up pretty good. So
I'm shocked you guys were so low on the anticipation of this one. I figured you'd.
Well, I expected a bloodless, possibly Twilight-style vampire movie here, dude. I'll be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't know.
You were thinking
know
maybe a
what to expect.
PG-13 something?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little softer than it ended up being.
Oh.
So yes, pleasant. These are the kind of surprises I fucking love. When I'm like, absolutely, like that wasn't what I expected at all. That was really good. You know, this is a prime example of that. Yes, we're gonna speak highly of this one, folks. This was a good fucking movie.
Don't give it away.
I'm just
right
saying.
out of the
I'm
bag.
excited. It's fucking hard to say. Even Faze already said it too. It's a good fucking
that's
movie.
true.
Yeah. I didn't say that.
Well.
All right. Well, by the way, I just realized what shirt you have on, Ziggy, and
No, yeah.
I almost wore that one.
Yeah, I was like, it was all peeking out at me from the rack. I haven't seen it in a fucking while, and I was like, well, goddamn, let's do it.
There we go.
It's one of my favorites. This is one of the funnier designs we did.
It's a good one.
I thought it was funny. All right. And I know a bunch of you guys out there watching went out and saw it. So follow along with us. Give us your thoughts on that. And
I think we're all going to be in agreement on this one.
Maybe. We'll see. Let's get into initial thoughts walking out of the theater. Ziggy, what'd you think? What were your first feelings as the credits began to roll?
They lost me at the beginning of the third act for a bit.
Really?
They did, because it started getting a little too funky with the double crosses and everything that was happening. But it wraps on such a perfect note that I was very satisfied with this. And then my first initial response was like, we don't need a sequel. And then I went, well, wait a minute. We need a prequel is what we need, you know? And,
Cool.
but yeah, dude, finally, I mean, I was just like, Jesus Christ, totally worth it. Completely entertained. Got everything you wanted. I mean, it's smart. It's just written very well. The characters are all fucking on point. They're interesting. It's an original fucking plot story on a kind of it's so cool. They just took this whole genre and stuck it on its ear. Very cool.
It was a fresh look at old material.
Mm.
And most of that had to do with it being a kid, for one, and who her dad was. We'll get into later. You know, I liked that part because
That's what I mean. When it got to the last 5 minutes, okay, I'm back.
Right.
I'm back. You know?
But I mean, like I think I can say this because it's alluded to in the trailer, if I remember correctly. But you know, the mafia tie. You know, why hasn't there? And correct me if I'm wrong, audience. I have never seen a movie. Make sure to go back to the old one.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Yeah.
I had never seen a movie that threw vampires into like the mob or a mafia style organization, some kind of organized crime. I had seen them run, corporations, TV stations, shit like that.
Blade is good for this. Blade alludes to a lot of this too, like vampires being in charge of a lot of things behind the scenes, but it never really does it like this. Where
Right. And I think that's an interesting backstory, and you mentioned it, in a sequel or a prequel that could be investigated further. But we'll talk about that later. I've saved that for late.
Yeah, we have to, because he's great. He's fucking great too. He's so good.
But I walked out of this that was a good fucking popcorn flick. And it's probably one of the best ones I've seen in a while. Because most of the time, if I go to a movie, it's the horror genre just doesn't make popcorn flicks anymore. Not often. You know what I mean? Just those fun, kind of in your face movies.
Not
They
often.
try. Yeah, they try. They try, I think, but they don't always.
They fail.
They fail more than not.
They fail a lot. But this one I really dug. I thought 90% of it was on point. So, what about you, FaZe? Initial thoughts walking out?
I don't know. You guys put it pretty well. I mean, I don't eat popcorn during movies at the theater, but it was a really good popcorn flick. Like, I do agree with that.
I mean, that's just a term.
And I know that is just a term, but still. But
what the fuck you guys are talking about? I put down a half a fucking bag, man.
Yeah.
Well, Bill says he ate most of his popcorn.
That's fucking A.
Kind of like Ziggy, it did start to lose me a little bit. Not like entirely by the third act, but like the twist just started getting to be a little bit much. And there were some things that I'll get into later that like kind of, like some comedy aspects threw me out of it, I guess. I'll say it that much.
Huh. All right.
But other than that, I walked out of it very pleased. I like this movie.
I can't wait to see what it was in the third act that set you guys. I mean, I have one idea, but
I think it's different for the two of us.
Is it something we talked about last night?
I did.
Yeah. I told you it was just the like the double.
Was I drunk last night?
I don't know.
I don't know. Were you?
You would have known. You would have known.
Like it.
Okay, then no. I'm curious to see what.
And don't get me wrong, dude. It just kind of, I went, it made it not as cool for me where they were going, and then it kind of went, okay. I mean, almost predictably, like, don't really. I think they took an easier, low hanging fruit with it. That's all.
It made me laugh in parts that I wasn't sure I was supposed to laugh. Like, I don't know. We'll get into that later when we get into spoiler territory.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into the actual beginning and the plot of the movie a little bit here with Act 1, the kidnapping. How did you feel the part that you missed? You missed the whole kidnapping?
I'm not sure how late I was, but I was a little bit late to the movie. Usually they run ads for like 30 minutes, but this one apparently did not. I was only like 20 minutes late, and I missed. They were driving the car when I got there.
Okay, you didn't miss much. I mean,
with her in it already?
Yeah, with her in it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
wow.
You did miss.
You missed like 15 minutes.
No shit. They did like no ads then. Fuck.
What you did miss, there's just the team kind of meets each other, and you could tell there's distrust amongst them right away as they're getting ready to go, but they're all looking like they're pretty much pro and have done something like this before.
Sure. Okay. I may try to watch this again, probably on streaming when it hits, just to catch that beginning.
Definitely.
There's no chance that I won't not see this again.
Yeah, no. This is definitely a physical media purchase for me. This will go in the collection. Well, since FaZe missed most of the kidnapping, Ziggy, I'll start with you. What did you think of Act 1 and the setup?
Yeah, it's your typical kidnapping or heist or whatever crime they're going to do, because they don't really say it's a kidnapping right away until there's a definitive moment when you figure it out and they say what they're doing, and then it's like, whoa, wait a minute, a kid, what the fuck? There's conflict, and then one of a hard ass, is there going to be a problem? Is we're going to have to take care of you before we get going here,
right?
like I said, it's mostly that you're set up to know that these people doesn't matter. They're as far as they can throw them, they don't trust them. So it's gonna be keeping you right by my side, keeping an eye on you the whole fucking time.
Well, and you
And
get
that's
little
good.
insights into some of the characters, like her
Right.
eating the candy and waiting.
Right.
Then opening the hypodermic bag.
Syringe. Yeah, they got drugs
Yeah.
to drug the kid to get her, so they could get her quietly.
And then you meet Catherine Newton's character, who's the hacker and
Mm-hmm.
the getaway boy.
You got a driver, a
Angus
hacker.
Cloud.
You got the muscle. You got
Right.
the brains of the thing, and then you've got the one that's going to interact with Abigail as the only interaction. So there's no faces can be identified. I mean, they've really thought this out.
Right. She's the medic.
She's the medic. Yeah. Oh, right. She's also right. Yeah.
Well, and then they got the sharpshooter too, the lookout or whatever you want to call him.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
So.
He's the watching the front.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's cool. I mean, the kid. It's a kidnapping. They pull it off. They do it. They make it. Yeah. What'd you think?
It is kind of funny because the first time I went to see this twice just because I wanted to refresh it in my head. I saw it first showing available on Thursday, and then went to see it again yesterday. And watching that first main scene again the second time, you catch a couple of things that you might not have caught the first time. Mm-hmm. And I do like the way they filmed that because I don't want to say that, but there's a bit that you'll catch the second time around that's like, okay, if I would have seen that, I would have seen the rest of the movie coming. But it's good. It's good the way they did it because they didn't give it away too much. But no, I thought the kidnapping scene was well done. Act 1, all in all, was well done. It was just, well, and I'm going to say this a lot about this movie. The script is top notch.
Yeah.
The writing of this is very good. And I know we're going to get into that a little bit more in depth later, but there are a couple of hiccups, I will admit. But I know why they did that. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed the kidnapping, and it was well thought out and planned from a writing standpoint, and they filmed it very well. So, we've already talked.
They're coming out like they're in the dark. They made it out. They're in the shadows, and he's like, "All right, I think we're in the clear, guys." And then every fucking light and alarm just goes, and it's like they're fully exposed and lit up. It's fucking pretty funny, man.
I'm gonna have to watch this for sure.
We've talked about this a little bit, but the character introductions I really appreciated too, and especially the one scene when they are at the hideout.
Oh,
where she's analyzing them.
That may have been my favorite part of the whole fucking flick.
That was a good one. Yep.
That was again a fucking well-written scene.
Well written. I mean, that is Tarantino level shit.
Yeah, we need to throw this up for a little bit because when we get into this,
it's simple. I mean, it just there's kind of dick measuring. Oh, whatever, you're this and that. Yeah, and she's like, oh, I know who you are. $100 says you don't know shit about me. She fucking goes around the room and reads everybody for $100 a pop, except one dude only pops at 20. But the analytics of it are brilliant and so smart and so fucking perfect. And it just goes both ways. And the other characters doing the same shit back. Mm-hmm. It's fucking great, man. Mm-hmm. It is so good. That was great.
And it was a great moment of when you have an ensemble cast like this, there's a writing term and a filmmaking term called character building. And that was like textbook character building moment. And it's just perfect the way they executed it.
They pulled you into that circle, man. Like you were in the room hearing that shit. You were waiting for them to get to you next. It was just fucking good. It was good.
And then there's this weed smoking son of a bitch over here.
Yeah,
Which one of you am I talking about?
right. There was one character introduction, maybe not necessarily an introduction, but that kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Go on.
Lambert, who was played by Giancarlo Esposito, if I'm pronouncing that right, who
Yep.
played Gus in Breaking Bad. I'm like, holy shit, it's fucking Esposito. Oh my God. He's only there for like 2 fucking minutes. He's out the door. He's gone. And he ain't coming back for a while.
Right.
So, I mean, that was a little disappointing.
Yeah, his role is he gets access to the house for him, the safe
He's the
house.
behind the scenes guy.
Yeah, he's setting up the behind the scenes shit just to make sure it runs smooth.
Wasted talent, god damn it! I wanted to see more of him.
Oh no, that was a great role for him.
And he did really good. He did excellent.
They probably couldn't afford him for more than the 2 days or 3 days they had him on set, though.
That's a good point. You got me on that one.
Just saying, because that guy, one of those talented actors that's been around for a while, and I've always dug him.
Watch Breaking Bad, motherfucker! I'm telling you.
I know. Once I get to a point where I can sit down and binge like 8 seasons or whatever it is.
5, and they're all 40 minutes long, so you know it's a binge.
It's a task. No, the introductions, even before they get to the mansion and then they do that analytical thing, you can pick up on all the, even if they've just got one line, like the boss, the cop, basically. Like when she gets in the car and the muscle is like, is the temperature okay back there? Do you need it warmer, colder? And he's like, just fucking drive. The temperature's fine.
Yep.
Shit like that just sets the tone for each of those characters immediately, and you know what kind of ride you're getting into. And like I said, I thought the writing of this was pretty good, and they handled the intros very well. What about the introduction of Abigail herself? Because we get FaZe didn't see this. We get the dance scene at the very top while the credits are rolling. In basically an empty theater. So I assume it was supposed to be some kind of audition or something like that.
Or, she's loaded, so maybe they fucking rented the place for her. Who knows? For an hour.
She is. And then she gets into the limo or whatever with the driver. They go to the mansion where their mansion where the heist takes place. And but we really aren't introduced to her until 30 minutes in, once Joey and her have that first discussion. How'd you feel they handled that scene, Ziggy?
Her actually talking to Annabelle and everything. Well, that was given away. Abigail. They did that in the trailer. Most of that. And it's a abbreviated version of what that was. They give you a whole lot more, and Abigail trying to find out about her captor, and she's hey, I'm keeping the mask on. You don't need to know anything about me, where I'm from, anything about me. I have a son. I'll give you that, but I'm not telling you his name. None of that shit. So, it was good. She looked scared. She looked believably scared. She did very well with that. So I thought that was good.
Right. Yeah. No. I thought her. She has to play several different roles in this film. The kid. And I thought she did very well with all of them.
Yeah.
So, FaZe, did you like? You were there by the time she was introduced. So, did you like that scene, that introduction?
Yeah, it was a good scene. I kind of spoiler alert, I guess, but I thought the whole Pinky Promise thing was a little bit, cheesy. But everything else before that was, I was pretty good with. The The whole like asking her to loosen the shackles, asking her to take the blindfold off, just the graduality of the building of trust. It was another well written scene.
Yeah, the pinky promise thing is a setup though.
And it is set up, yes. They gave that a payoff. I thought it was cheesy at first, but they gave it, they did something with it.
All right. Well, let's move on since we got out of the character introductions. Let's move on to Act 2, which takes place at the mansion. This is a different mansion after she's been taken from her home.
Yeah.
Then taken to some secluded, wooded area with no neighbors anywhere around, gates all over the place. Faze, I'll start with you on this one. How'd you like the setup for Act 2? And yes, folks,
oh yeah,
we will have some minor spoilers here.
I mean, the mansion itself is really good. They don't show much of the outside of it from what I remember, at least. I think they only really show the front, but even that looks really good. Looks really like old, rustic. Like kind of has one of those like loop-in driveways, and then the inside of it too is all like. Again, whoever worked the set design on this movie did a really fucking good job. Because, I mean, this looks like a fucking mansion that has been furnished and sitting for over 100 years. I mean, there's just shit everywhere. But it's like, also, like, it's organized. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's a really well done set. It really convinced me that this was an old, fucking creepy-ass mansion.
It reminded me of the original Resident Evil house.
Yeah, man, it does. It's very similar to the original Resident Evil house.
It's all just like that. So if you've seen that, you know what we're talking about. And it's just like it's a fucking looks like any haunted mansion you've seen. This is it without it being haunted per se.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But great.
I like the mansion mostly because and they focus on some of this shit way too long, and you're like, okay, I get it. For one thing, spoiler alert, the statues in the library, are clearly the little girl and her dad, but that statue has been there for a while. So they kind of, I mean, we know going in it's a fucking vampire. So, we don't know how old she's been, this way, but that's such a tell. And then there's also that drawing on the wall that one of them finds. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Angus Cloud, the driver.
I don't remember.
I think it was him that found it. And the drawing is, I think he's the first one to kind of look at that drawing and go, no way, or something.
Yeah, but he was already plastered by then.
Yeah, he was already way high. So
one
of the things we tend to not argue about, but disagree about most often are sometimes the comedic elements. Well, why is that one so high? I misplaced the misplacement of that one, but oh well. Deal with it. The comedic elements of certain, especially horror comedies. A lot of times I dislike horror comedies just because I don't like that style of humor. Or whatever style of humor it is. But this one was okay. A little sophomoric, a little simple. But there were a couple of good moments.
This is the hardest kind of comedy to nail, in my opinion. And it's silly comedy at those times, but still trying to keeping the tone serious, but making it funny like this is hard.
That is tough. But
they do it here.
But see, normally one of my least favorite kinds of comedy is it's almost that Abbott and Costello trying to do an Abbott and Costello stuff now. Like every character is stupid and does stupid things except for the one person that has the joke, or belittles them for doing something stupid, and that's the joke. And I don't normally like that, but the one scene where Sammy, is sent, go find garlic in the kitchen, and then she comes back with a bag. Yeah. Minor spoiler. Minor spoiler. But she comes back with a bag and holds it up, and Frank says, "God damn it, Sammy! Those are onions, not garlic." I'm like, I don't
onion,
cook.
Sammy.
I don't cook. The way they delivered that worked.
Fucking
And
great.
normally I would have hated that, but the way they delivered that worked. And the fact
then
that
they hit it. They drove it home again. He's like, fucking onions, as he's walking out, shaking his head.
right,
Fucking brilliant.
and the fact that Kevin Durand playing the muscle is the dumb guy that gets nothing. He played that so charmingly that it was hard not to like the humor.
I like him in everything he's been in, I think.
But you know what I mean?
I do.
If that would have been played by somebody else, a little bit less talented or maybe recognizable, I would have hated that. I would be picking it apart right fucking now instead of like, you know what? Not bad,
Sure.
guys.
Nope. You even like the assholes in this movie. Even the bad seeds are pretty likable.
It's surprising, but
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of other films don't pull off very well.
Oh, yeah.
Likable characters.
especially these days. Oh my god,
Yeah.
dude.
Right. Ziggy, your thoughts on the comedic elements of this movie?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's there's a lot of subtleties in there, and there's a lot of stupid jokes. It's dumb. It is. It's very dumb. You don't have to think too hard to get it. But the way that the characters take that information and spit it back, and it's just fucking. I laughed a lot watching this movie. I mean, there was me and another guy that were laughing at all the old people jokes. Like about the Rat Pack and shit like that.
Sure.
Yeah. I saw this the first time I saw this with like a 23 or 24-year-old buddy of mine, and everybody else in the theater was like 25 and under.
Wow.
And then the Rat Pack joke comes up, and he's naming them off, and I'm just laughing.
Oh yeah.
And then it gets called back later, and I'm still laughing, and my buddy's like, "What does that mean?"
Nobody got it.
I took my son, and he was just all like,
Did you see that?
Did you see that?
Did you see that?
Oh, but there's a guy like I had to get the VIPs because it was kind of full, dude. I was surprised at because I went to an early Saturday morning show,
Mhm.
Like fucking 11 o'clock or something, and it was me and another dude that looked to be in his 50s, and we're laughing at certain jokes,
Right.
but you'll get it all. You should, because it's not that crazy. It's pretty widespread,
But see, what's kind of funny to especially the callback later.
Yeah,
the funniest part of that
he delivered.
is, Kevin Durand gets it finally.
Rat Pack.
I get it now, the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
And still, most of the audience doesn't. So even the dumbest character in the movie gets the joke, but the audience doesn't. And that was one of those moments that I kind of like stuck my head up and looked around, like, see if anyone was even smiling.
No,
I don't know.
They looked at me like I was fucking crazy, man. When I laughed, you know what I mean? I was like just shaking my head, like, you fucking young punks. You don't know anything about nothing. Get the hell, get off my lawn.
Kind of an age thing, it's an age gap thing. And
Well,
especially
okay,
kids these days don't care.
Granted, the joke is from the 50s, 60s, 70s, perhaps. Yes,
60s at least.
I'm surprised
at
I
least.
got it, honestly. Like, it's not even really my alley.
Again, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin. Who the fuck doesn't know this?
There's
That
a
is
bunch
a good point. I mean, a lot of people should know about at least Frank
Rat
Sinatra.
Pack,
I mean,
folks.
There's a bunch of people that don't know that. And he never said Sinatra or Davis Jr. or
said
anything.
Frank, Sammy.
All the criminal characters are named after the Rat Pack, basically, folks.
right.
So it's Frank, Sammy, Joey,
Dean.
Dean, I was trying to think of the D for some reason.
Yeah.
And, and then there's one extra one. And he's like, well, you're fucking Don Rickles. And that's the only one.
He made it.
And then, of course, as he walks away, who the fuck is Don Rickles?
Yeah.
So, but
I loved it. I thought it was
I thought it was great, but we're of that age that knows who
I'm
they
old.
were.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this movie, I don't think is aimed at our age group, Crank. I think it's
No. That's why I'm thinking the 20 somethings that were in the audience have no clue what that meant.
They didn't.
Dude,
It was a strange choice.
I saw an article today, and I hate reading this shit. And you know where I'm going with this, I think. But the website Screen Rant.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, I fucking hate that website. But every now and then they get me with one of the goddamn little clickbaity articles. And I had to read this because they called Abigail a remake of a 39-year-old John Hughes classic.
But?
Yeah. Guess which one?
I don't know.
16 Candles?
Nope.
All right.
Try again.
Let me think for just a second. Let me think for John Hughes.
It's up. It should be one of the more popular ones.
Not The Breakfast Club.
Yes.
No, what?
Yeah, they were saying this is the horror version of The Breakfast Club.
Be a really weird
If I didn't love my phone so much, I would have thrown it after reading this article because it's so idiotic.
I mean, they had like a jock, I guess, and the pretty girl, I guess, could be kind of. No, that's still stupid, though.
But keep in mind, the cast of The Breakfast Club was called the Brat Pack as a loose joke to the Rat Pack, but they were making it a reference to the Brat Pack instead. And I was like, this is written by some 28-year-old person that has never figured out that the Brat Pack was something else.
Yeah, that comparison, it was a whole lot of. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that article pissed me off because it was just so out of touch. Read it yourself, folks. No, actually, don't. Please don't.
Screen Rants. No.
Please don't give them the clicks. They get enough. But I hate that website. I hate their articles. I hate their writing 9 times out of 10. I see them a lot. But no, I try to avoid it. But this one, it just pissed me off. Just the headline alone pissed me off so much that I was just like, oh, I have to see this. And sure enough,
if somebody came and gave me that take, I would walk away mid-sentence. Just turn and walk. I'd be like, I can't. That's cuckoo talk.
That's weird.
That's just stupid. That's a dumb take. You're right. It's just some punk that just went, I need to get a bunch of buzzwords in here and buzzword directors from the 80s and stuff just to make a comparison.
That's what they do.
Fucking get out of here, man. Seeing right through you.
Anyway, I'm trying to calm down a little bit.
All right, man. Let it out.
I may need some weed now.
Yeah.
Here's where we're going to get into some heavy spoilers. So,
more spoilers.
It's that time of the show. Of the show. Act 3, the finale. Ziggy, your thoughts on the finale? Start with what led you astray in the finale.
We're gonna spoil it. Okay. Yeah, you did. And so they're trapped in this mansion. Like it's got all kinds of thick sliding steel shuttered in all the way around. So it's essentially they're brought there to feed the kid. This is what we figure out, and they're gonna get out. They only stayed because they think they're getting $7 million apiece, and they all have their various troubled pasts. But in some way, they've all fucked around and fucked over her dad. That's what we're at. So we're at the end, and they realize they get Annabelle trapped. So they think.
Mm-hmm.
and
Caged like
they
an
got her
animal.
caged, and she says, "All right, you know," and there's a very cool exchange about, "All right, whoever, you know, if you guys let me go, I'll let half of you leave." And then like they stop and just sort of like go looking, you know, to give a question back, and she's like, "You know what? Okay, now only one of you get to live. The one that lets me out. And that's it.
That offer's expired.
Yeah, the other offer's gone." You know,
Again, smart
so
fucking writing, dude.
so tense and so smart. Abigail, we're gonna get into the acting, and I'm gonna let that go then. I'm gonna let that go for now. Yeah, the ending. But no, you know, so of course the kidnappers start screwing each other over, the ones that are still alive at this point, because a few of them are gone already. So we're not spoiling it too bad. And they do the thing that you don't ever want to see him do. You go this way alone, you know, and so we're gonna search the house. I mean, like the hacker, we need to get this connected. If I can find a power source, I can override the system and get us out. That's what the mission is. We just got to find a direct power source.
Right.
So they're all separated, and then you know, yes, more of them die, and it just gets to they run into what's his face again, right? That's the absolute turn again. That's when it twists again. It twists and twists. And
That's closer to the end. I mean, you're
close. What am I leaving out? I mean,
well, you're leaving out the.
yeah. Oh well, yeah. She gets. I didn't say I didn't want to. That's the kind of stuff we want to
You
ruin
don't.
all that. I said they died, but I mean, the hacker gets bit, and she's, you know, she even says, she's like, "Hey, am I going to turn into a vampire?" And you know, she's like, Abigail's like, "I don't know, maybe." You know, and it's just the way she
toying with
says
him.
it. You know, she says it so good. She delivers it just with the absolute experience of a 300-year-old vampire, and it's fucking sweet, man. It's just very good.
And
The
we
way,
do find out she's been a
yeah,
vampire for several hundred years. So.
yeah, yeah, and she's very, very direct and deliberate in every action she takes, and why she's doing what she's doing, and so the hacker, she does turn, and she does a great scene where she's kind of luring him in, you know. Yeah,
Oh, no, it wasn't. It's not that, but I want to jump in here for a
go
minute
ahead,
because
take it.
that's the point I was talking about earlier, where I really appreciate Catherine Newton as an
Jesus
actor.
Christ,
I mean,
yeah.
she's done a couple of things like Freaky was fun, but didn't necessarily need her to like show off her acting chops. I thought she was great though in Lisa Frankenstein, and but this one, that moment when she does turn and the sound design is spoilers, by the way. The sound design is Abigail's voice kind of starting to come through in that cloudy way, and you can see the suffering of the vampire blood finally getting around and taking over Catherine, Sammy's character, and it's all on her face, man. It's just and it's a long fucking shot,
Yeah.
but it's a one close up shot of her and her face, and she's going through this transition, and then as soon as you hear "You're mine," or how whatever Abigail says, "You're mine now," or however she says it, that Catherine Newton's entire face just changes entirely, and it goes from this like shock, awe, pain, like confusion, fear, like torture, to reluctance, like
Relax.
immediately. And dude, that was you mentioned something earlier being one of your favorite moments of the film. That was one of my favorite moments of the film.
Yeah, that was a good one.
30 seconds right there, just her transforming.
Her bite heals right up, like instantly heals.
But her like facial transformation,
Oh.
no makeup whatsoever, no nothing. It was just pure acting, and
she's good.
Kudos, motherfucking does to you.
We got a contender here for a new candidate for a scream actor. I don't know how they want to be called. You're not supposed to say scream queens anymore.
Well, no, Barbara Crampton doesn't want to be called a scream queen
Right.
anymore. Some of the others, I don't think give a shit. But
Yeah.
But well, I take that back. There were a lot that were on board with Barbara Crampton. That's
I'm on board too. Whatever it is, I want her in that group. She's earning a spot in that amongst that group of the people making horror films that are pretty fucking good. How about that?
How about horror actors?
Horror actors that are fucking good.
Or actresses, you know.
Actors.
I don't even think they want to be called actresses anymore.
Yeah, right. You know, just fuck.
Really? I'm behind on that memo.
Yeah. You didn't get that?
No.
You need to call your gay friends in Hollywood, FaZe, and get on board with this shit.
I'll get on the phone as soon as I get it fixed. I meant
what
phony.
the hell is the matter with you anyway?
Pretty much. But yeah, go on, Ziggy. Sorry. What you were talking about, I think you were wanting to get to where they find Lambert again.
They find Lambert again, and he's in like a control room within this house. They feel like if they get to this control room, they'll be able to hack the system, open the doors, and get out.
But he lets them in.
He lets them in because as he turns around, he is revealed as a vampire as well. We find out that Abigail turned him a few years ago.
No, Lazar turned him.
Well, yeah.
The dad.
The dad. Right. But to put him in place to make sure and arrange feedings for the daughter.
No.
Yeah, it's what it was. He was doing. That's what the whole point was.
No, she did that all herself.
He was working though because that was he's there to help. He's part of the fucking gap, dude. Part of the blindfold.
He's part of the gag, yeah, but I don't think he was doing it for Lazar. He was doing that for Abigail.
Right. But I mean, yes, he was. We're saying the same thing, I think. So.
Okay.
But he decides, and this is what I mean, another twist, that let's kill Abigail, and then, we'll take this fucking thing over.
Right.
So, in the dumbest line of the movie, what I think anyway, Frank says, Frank the cop, fuck it, bite me. Does one of those,
He doesn't do that.
He might as well have. He might as well. Right, FaZe? Tell him, man.
He might as well.
I agree.
No, you're right. You're right. He might as well have, but he didn't.
But he didn't. He just took the bite. And so he would become a vampire. And so now we've got the cop.
Frank.
Yep. We've got Lambert. I keep wanting to say Lazar. And now they're going to try to kill Abigail.
Mm-hmm. And they knock Joey out.
They knock Joey out, right?
Melissa Barrera's character.
Right, yes. Because she's kind of like, well, hey, wait a minute, there's no reason to kill her, that kind of thing. She's got this remorse the whole time. She's got a young son that she sees in Abigail. I'm assuming that's what they're going for. Would you, the relationship that she didn't have?
I think it was more of just, she had some sympathy. So she was the one that was tasked with, keeping an eye on the girl.
Same age and everything.
But
then being a medic in case something went wrong,
Right. And but I think that more of it was she saw that, that payday as a way to help her get custody again.
Right.
So.
Well, they kill not Lazar. Lambert with a stake.
Yeah, it's an immediate backstabbing.
Awesome.
It's an immediate backstabbing, though.
Yeah, it's like the quickest double cross you'll ever see in a gangster movie. And again, and this is like I said, this is where I was kind of going, "Ah, really, but it's okay. They make up for it. They do make up for it.
I do.
And then Abigail gets out, and they fight. There's a whole thing with the sun gets involved, like like not her son, the actual sunlight, and wounds Abigail.
Mhm.
And they're like, okay. She's like, now she gets with Joey. We got to work together, and I'll let you live. I'll let you go. I'll let you go home to your son. So it seems like a whole manipulation, and then she sticks the pinky out again because Joey was pretty like, fuck you. You know, I'm not trusting your dumbass after everything you've said and lied about. But there's just something in her eyes, you know, and she does the pinky swear, and they get it together. But Frank comes busting in and almost kills everybody, and he bites Joey.
Mhm.
And it all looks like all hope is lost. And the sunlight again gets it kind of kicked back, and they knock Frank down. And the two of them, Joey and Abigail, get the stake up on Frank above him. And then Abigail says what saves the fucking movie. Should we say it or leave it?
Go ahead. We're spoiling a lot of this, and
Yeah.
people are sticking around. So
It's so good. It's so worth it, man. It doesn't matter. She just
we
says,
understand if you need to leave, but
yeah,
yeah.
you know, I'll wait. But she just
Just
says,
gained
like,
a viewer.
as they're pushing the stake down closer and closer to his heart, she's like, yeah, Frank. She's like, this vampire shit takes fucking years to learn how to do all the cool shit. As they stick it in his fucking chest, man, and he explodes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so
I
good.
didn't like that. Actually.
Yeah. That was the line he didn't like.
I didn't like the oh fuck, and then I hate that he had to exclaim that he didn't like getting killed or something. I don't know. That's not the kind of comedy that works for me. I guess.
I guess
It didn't make sense, and in a lot of shit, especially in the dialogue that made sense in this movie, that dialogue just didn't make sense.
I think if you were sitting on a grenade that was, about to go off, you'd say, "Oh fuck."
Right. That's the thing, because with the pop and then waterbed like explosion of blood that happened that comes from these vampires when they pop. Fuck.
See, that threw me off a little bit too. The first explosion, they just fucking blow up. I exploded laughing in the theater. I was the only one laughing in the whole theater, which kind of made me a little uncomfortable. But I'm like, it's just like shit, man. That shit was just, and it threw me out a little bit because it's like, it's almost.
It was a new look.
Goofy.
It was a new take, though.
It was a new take, and it reminded me.
Would you rather them just turned into dust and sprinkle away?
I appreciated the gore and everything. I guess it made me laugh a little too much for how serious they were trying to keep the scene being. I guess.
Well, Lost Boys, they said you just never know how they're gonna go. You don't know.
That's fair.
These vampires, when you stake them in the fucking heart, they pop like a fucking.
They really pop. They pop like a fucking. And Lord. It's good. The gore is excellent. Like it
Sunlight works, but garlic
doesn't cross.
Crosses. We don't know about holy water. We never got to test that theory.
Yeah.
But still, it was just interesting. Again, they took some liberties with the vampire laws, which and again.
But it also may be because she's 300 years old. She's gotten immune to it.
You built a tolerance. I can dig that, man. I'll accept that.
Like if they had done that to Sammy right out of the gate, it might have had an effect.
Sure.
And if crosses don't work, I don't think holy water would work. So
very good. But the sunlight and the stake in the heart, man, was money in the bank.
There is a little bit more to the finale that I don't really think we need to get to, or do we need to talk about that?
Well, we got 30 minutes left, and there's a couple more topics. So
with her dad,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
The dad comes back. Yeah. There's an interaction. She even talks about when they first begin to have their final confrontation in the library. I love that Abigail has that exchange. I really don't like this. I've never really liked this room this much. This is where my dad turned me, so many years ago. So there's some bad blood in here, or whatever she
Painful
says.
memories, I think she
Yeah,
said.
painful memories, yeah. But yeah, Dad comes back, wants to eat up Joey, but Abigail talks him out of it. And
You know, there's something to be said about the loyalty and the honor of a vampire's word, because they usually do kind of do what they say and say what they mean.
yeah,
And that even Sarandon at Morgan Crypt last year verified that. I asked him, I said, in your mind, you know, and being the specter of, you know, Jerry Dandridge, do you think you would let Charlie live? Was that deal an official deal? He didn't hesitate. Oh, yes, absolutely. If he would have said, yep, I'm out of your business, I'm done, he would have left and never bothered him again.
right.
I believe that.
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to jump ahead briefly, but we'll come back. Let's talk about your favorite gory scene. You just mentioned mine, so I'm gonna jump the gun because I don't want you to steal it. But dude, because we haven't seen this very often. I know we've seen it before, but we haven't seen it very often. We haven't seen it done like this, I don't think. But when Abigail does get hit with the sunlight and her arm is gone, just blows off fast. And then she shrinks up into the darkness a little bit. And it's just there for a little bit. And then that gross little nub starts coming out of her arm, you know, to regrow it back. I thought that was cool as shit. And I love the fact that they showed it. So.
Oh, no.
That's not. What's yours?
The grossest and nastiest thing of this entire movie. The hacker is stumbling around the house and gets kind of tossed through and falls into a pool that's in the mansion.
Oh my God.
And it's just filled with all the fucking corpses of all the previous victims. It's just a thick, viscerous, like thick gelatinous soup of flesh and rot and blood and just pus and body parts and torsos, and it's fucking made me want to puke just looking at it.
It looks so gross.
The smell had to be, because he was like,
yeah,
like, get it off, you
know?
So I mean, yeah, that was fucking foul.
Yeah. Grizzly says, and all I could think of is how much she has to smell coming out of it. Well, there's
my God.
There's that moment where she walks up to Joey, and Joey's like, Jesus, you know.
What the fuck? Yep. So she bathed in just years of liquid death. Ugh.
Oh, dude, that's so bad.
What about you, Faze? What was your favorite gore moment?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, the pool was definitely the grossest. I mean, that might have grossed me out a little too much.
Yeah,
I really like
the fucking pops.
Right,
there was 3 good pops with
the pops were really good, and I did want to mention that they reminded me of one of my favorite films of all time. I guess 2 of them, Kill Bill, because just the absurdity of the amount of blood.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because
that made me laugh in Kill Bill 2. The first time the blood starts spewing out of the decapitated head, I was laughing my fucking ass off. I was like 14 at the time. I loved it. Fucking, the movies are excellent. And anything that makes me think of Kill Bill gets a thumbs up. So I guess I'll say any one of the pops, but not the last one with the stupid fucking line that came.
Oh fuck.
The stupid ass oh fuck. So any of the other 2.
It was just, the other ones were great too, because it's followed up with that complete shock of the people that are now covered in the blood, and they're just like,
yeah. Well, I mean, but we've had that kind of stuff. Maybe not in the Scream movies these guys did, but in Ready or Not, there was a shit ton of blood too. So
there was.
These guys fucking get it, and I love it.
Yeah. So I think they get it for sure. Yep. Paula says the pool. Bill says the pool.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Grizzly says the hand. Yep.
The hand. Oh God, that was great.
Grizzly also says, I would like to see a vampire assassin. Great concept. Yeah, well, sure. That's what this girl is, sort of.
Pretty much, I mean,
in a way. So
there's many vampire stories that haven't been touched yet.
Well, we're gonna go there here in a little bit. We've already talked about the writing a lot, but How did you feel about the direction, Ziggy?
Just I was in the story, man. They pulled me right in, and I love that they can do that. Only a good director can do that to me. And there's 2 of them on this one, so I don't know who we thank for all of them, but well done, just expertly executed.
These
all the way
guys,
around.
yeah, these guys definitely know how to like shoot a film to where it can be edited and properly. So they get what they need, and I like the way they set up most of their scenes and their dialogue, especially. So, how about you, FaZe? Anything to add on there? Yeah, you wanted to talk a little bit about the music.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, I agree on the writing and the direction, just excellent all around. I mean, I got there late and fucking, I was pretty much instantly like into the characters while they were driving in that car. Like, I got there when he was pulling into the stoplight, and he pulls next to the truck instead of pulling at the turn that she told him to.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Ooh, that was smooth." And I'm immediately like, "All right, I'm interested in these people." Like, it gets you quick. But yeah, with the music, I mean, this is a ballet dancer, so of course there's a bit of classical music, and kind of a guilty pleasure of mine is classical music that kind of comes from back in from 5th grade to 8th grade. For 4 years, I played violin, so I had a lot of exposure to that kind of music. My favorite classical composer is Vivaldi for the Four Seasons. But they were playing the classic Swan Lake, which was written by I can't pronounce the fucking name, but
we'll try.
Wait, what? Are you talking about a composer?
Yes.
Tchaikovsky?
Yes, Tchaikovsky. Thank you. I can't say it.
What?
I can't say that. But again, anyway, they're playing the Swan Lake, which is very common in ballet, which I'm not familiar with ballet itself, but it's a good choice to use. And it's one of those songs that starts off very light, and then it kind of crescendos. It gets heavier and heavier. Then it gets a lot more intense. And they use that really, really well during in the middle of the scene where she's dancing, and then she starts killing motherfuckers during the music, during the crescendo part where it's all intense. Like they made really good use of that, which again speaks to their direction.
Yeah. Oh, that scene where she's kind of like playfully hunting them with that song.
Yeah,
is a great scene. I'll be honest, I didn't like it as much the first time I saw it, but the second time I went back and watched it, I appreciated it a little bit more. I thought at first I thought they were kind of dragging that and just trying to fluff the film a little bit, if you would.
I can see that.
But once I saw it a second time, and I really enjoyed it. So
I like Grizzly's comment. She's fucking flying. That was part 2, yeah.
Yep. Gina says, "Oh Lord, I'm already designing this wreath." Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Fucking A.
I just loved how this girl, they wrote this 300-year-old vampire or so for several hundred years, and she got it though. She had that knowledge in her eyes somehow. That's what I was tripping out on. I was like, God damn it, I believe her. I mean,
once you got to the point where she was vicious,
where she no longer was. Yeah, she was in the cage.
Right, when she wasn't the cowering little girl at the very beginning, and again, that goes as a testament to that child actor. She's solid,
just cutting them down like, fuck you guys, you're all dead. Yeah, you're all dead. Just it doesn't matter what you say.
There was a moment where she almost Bond villained her way through it, and you guys know how much I hate that shit. But again, in this, it worked.
That line saves it, man. That fucking last line before
that really helps. It notches it up.
Yeah, it does. All right, let's move on to. We're probably going to run a little long tonight, but that's all right.
A little bit. I'm all right with it.
Differences and similarities, and what I mean by this is like differences and similarities from other vampire films. Like I mentioned close to the top, I love the fact that there was this mob aspect, and that a vampire had infiltrated the fucking mob or some kind of organized crime organization. I thought that was genius. I can't believe, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, if there's one out there, I can't believe that has not been explored before, I thought that was one of the biggest differences. I'm glad it was a kid vampire that wasn't Twilight. So I'll put it. Ziggy, anything from you?
Exactly. I mean, when no sparkles. I mean, she had sparkles on her dress and shit, but it's hard to see the sparkles through the fucking blood splatter and
No
fucking
shit, man.
entrails hanging off her shoulders.
Ballet tutu, man. Of course there's sparkles on the dress.
That's what I'm saying, though, man. But she was eventually covered in blood and guts, and it was glorious.
Tons.
You know what? I'm actually fucking shocked there wasn't a sparkle joke in this movie.
It's been overdone, man. I'm kind of glad there wasn't.
They let it go. They're like, fuck, we're not even going to acknowledge that piece of trash as a vampire.
Everyone's been shitting on Twilight for almost 20 years now. This
ain't Twilight. No.
What was that? 2008?
That's definitely a difference.
I don't know. I still have never seen any of them, so I don't care.
Good. Keep it that way.
I mean, like I said, as far as the mob stuff, they kind of talk about shit like that in the Blade series, of being in deep rooted in politics and everything, but they don't get into it like this one does,
And they got into it. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Any similarities? I hadn't thought about the Death by Stereo link to Lost Boys, but the exploding, I guess, was fairly similar there, but some people have said this is and I tried to look for this to see if I could watch it today, but it wasn't available, at least free. This might loosely be considered a remake of Dracula's Daughter from 1938, I believe. Maybe very loosely, but and only in the aspect of Dracula having a daughter.
Yeah.
I doubt that. I don't see
that.
This
guy's not even that similar to Dracula, like the dad.
Well, I mean, he's
kind of a modernized version.
He goes by many names, FaZe.
I guess.
He said it himself.
There's some of the fucking things, but
that was fucking Dracula, okay? That's who that was.
Fine. It could be fucking Dracula.
It's fine, I mean, even if it's not.
Any similarities for you, FaZe, besides the Kill Bill connection?
I mean, yeah, besides the Kill Bill connection, which not even really that much of a connection. Did we connect something else earlier too? Fucking.
Well, Grizzly, like I said, Grizzly mentioned Lost Boys.
Oh yeah, Lost Boys, but there was something else too that I'm not remembering. But anyway, I think you mentioned Tarantino, which made me think of Pulp Fiction. But anyway, fucking, I don't know. I think you guys pretty much went through them. The Lost Boys.
I would definitely say Radio Silence is heavily influenced by Tarantino.
And Radio Silence for sure.
Well, no, I mean the team Radio Silence, the directing team.
Right.
I guarantee you they're heavily influenced by Tarantino's work.
Just seeing that whole movie, that definitely like
the writing
dialogue was very Tarantino.
I think this is going to be a fun topic to discuss about this movie. Sequel potential. Ziggy, you already mentioned that you want a prequel. What do you want out of that?
I want to see Lazar. I want to see him doing what he does. Leading up to I guess you can turn Abigail.
The rise of Lazar.
You can rise Lazar and then get you can jump around a little bit and get to the point where he creates Abigail. What the fuck, man? I knew I was going to do that too.
I didn't even catch it that time.
What's going to fucking happen, though, is Blumhouse is going to buy the rights to this series and then have Abigail versus Annabelle, and we're going to fucking hate it.
Fuck that, dude.
We're going to fucking hate it.
This is not what I want.
It's Universal.
Yeah.
It's Universal.
There's no Blumhouse.
Don't even joke like that.
No Blumhouse stink on this at all.
What about you, FaZe? What would you like to see in a sequel?
I do agree with Ziggy on the prequel thing. I can't really think much
See, I
for a
don't.
sequel.
I do not want to see a prequel.
Well, what I would like to see in a prequel is,
It's
one
bizarre.
that follows Lambert. Maybe get a little bit more of, Esposito in there if they can afford it, like you mentioned. But if they can't do that, then I don't know. In a sequel, I don't know. What do you think they could do with a sequel, Crank? Because there's nothing really come to me.
Oh, dude.
Oh shit!
I mentioned this last night.
All right, everybody, you got an hour. Here we go.
We got 10 minutes.
Remember the 21st of April.
21st of April.
Now, I could see this being a trilogy.
Yeah.
And I don't think they could do much more than that because the kid that plays Abigail is going to age out quick. They're going to have to do this in like the next 3 years to get this where she doesn't look like she's too old for the role. That kid's probably going to go through a growth spurt here in about 18 months. And
If
then
not already.
No, probably.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Yeah, if not already, because a lot of this movie was shot almost over a year ago. So she may almost be too tall again. But I could see a trilogy coming out of this. And what I would see out of the second one is we meet Joey's kid, Caleb. Caleb has an online girlfriend who his mom finds out about, who turns out to be Abigail. The kids have never met, but they've like FaceTimed and shit like that or whatever.
Sure.
And mom finds out, Joey finds out about it, goes to Abigail to talk to her and just be like, look, do me a favor. I saved your life once before. Stay away from my fucking kid. And while she's there, a team of people come in trying to get to Abigail that are, supposedly there to get Abigail, because to punish her father for something. But at the end of the movie, you find out the father is actually just tired of Abigail and sent a team to fucking kill her. So, and then the third one is Abigail saying to Joey, help me get rid of my dad. And if I get rid of him, they've already established it. If you get rid of the vampire that turned you, you become normal. So help me get rid of my dad. Once he's dead, I'll be a normal 12-year-old girl with a lot of weird knowledge in my fucking head.
Yeah.
And you can raise me. And there's a little family unit there that is automatically made.
Sounds kind of Twilighty, man.
Go fuck yourself.
I don't know about Twilight. It would be, it'd be kind of like Hit the Hell's LLC trilogy where it kind of goes down each step, but never quite get bad. I mean,
I think that would be a fun. I don't know. I that's what I saw as I was walking.
Sound terrible, that doesn't. I would not be, I would be all right with that if that is the trilogy that were to come out.
I'm down with it, but you got to give me a Night of the Living Dead ending at the end, like Joey gets fucking bitten.
Ziggy, here's you.
They would have to really explore the mental consequences of having 300 years of history, but then suddenly starting your life as a 12-year-old girl.
No, because that's where the movie would end. She's turned, and then
otherwise it's become
maybe her considering those consequences as they're going to kill the father. I don't know. I would want a little bit of that at least.
Now you stick that with your imagination, how you see it as they walk off into the sunset together.
Well, that ain't no pretty sunset in my fucking imagination. It's a very dark life.
It could be.
It would be.
Let's see here.
She would not be able to get along with anyone in school. It'd be horrible. She would have there would be no restarting your childhood at that point.
Yeah, well,
Gina says, I think for a sequel, bring Joey and Abigail together. Yeah, that's kind of what my second one would be. Yeah, and you wouldn't, if you did a prequel, you wouldn't have Joey.
Nope.
I wouldn't mind that. Like I said, I want Esposito. I forgot the character's name. I want fucking
Lambert.
Definitely get Lambert.
If they can afford it, give me some Lambert prequel.
I guess you could go right to that second story, the third one, whatever. Skip the prequel. That would be okay. You can't water this down though, man. And the more you do with this character, the less charming this film will become.
Dude, this I looked these numbers up earlier. This had a budget of 28 million. It made 15 million worldwide over the weekend. So it's probably gonna, at least break even.
What was it up against? Civil War.
Civil War is still the number one movie in America right now.
Heard that's a flaming piece of shit.
You heard wrong.
Really?
Yep. Good? I loved it. But it's crank as fuck. I will say it.
So maybe I'll like it.
It's definitely crank as fuck.
I like it. It's an historical piece, right?
No.
No?
Historical? No, it's a set in the future. Not so distant future.
Yeah. Bill's asking for a rating.
I know.
It's coming, man.
All right, fine. Let's just go to the rating.
What's that next? I don't know what our...
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts and ranking. Faze, I'm going to start with you.
All right. I suppose I never put this on my letterbox yet, so I never considered a ranking, but final thoughts. I mean, it was good. I liked it more than I thought going in. I thought it was going to be okay. I heard all the things you guys were saying, so, it gave me a little bit of hope for it. I saw the almost 2-hour runtime, and that pissed me off, and you guys know I don't like that, but every movie's like that anymore. But this movie kept me well hooked during that entire run, even though I showed up late. So, any 2-hour or any movie that pushes 2 hours that could keep me focused for that long is good. And as far as the rating, damn, it's good. Like my mind keeps going to an 8, but that feels high. That feels strangely high, but I think I'll stick with an even 8 for now.
All right. Bill says 9.5 out of 10. He liked it. He liked it that much.
That's very high.
Ziggy, where do you lay on final thoughts and ranking?
2024 has had a terrible start to horror, man, and
really,
I was losing faith here, losing hope.
Wait, really?
I mean,
a terrible start?
Huh?
A terrible start to 2024?
Oh, just terrible.
Dude.
Night swim?
Late Night with the Devil?
It's been back and forth.
Late Night with the Devil?
That's more recent, dude. That's like the last...
Lisa Frankenstein?
That's
Immaculate?
Again, the last 2 months you're gone now. We're 4 months into the year here. Started off terrible, as I was saying.
All right. For the first 4 months, I think this is a great kickoff to 2024.
It's gotten a lot better since Night Swim.
As I was saying, the start of 2024 was not too good. Night Swim and of the like, things like this. And then with the last couple of movies things have been picking up. The trend is still going, man, because this one is fucking great. This is a welcome vampire movie. Welcome next to anything. Welcome next to Fright Night. Welcome next to Salem's Lot. It's good. It's a well done, tongue-in-cheek. It gets dark. It's scary at times. It's just everything you want in a fucking vampire movie. And it's just, I had a blast with this. I didn't even notice it was 2 hours, man. Not at all. Took me right through. It was
I would have never known if 150. I would have never known if I didn't look on the app.
Didn't care.
It didn't feel like
it was fine. It's a great ride. Takes you right through. You can't go wrong with this. You will be entertained. And dig it, man. I'm giving it an 8. Yep.
All right. I thought this one was way fun. Like I said, the writing was great, which is always a good thing for me. There were a couple of hiccups, like Ziggy mentioned. The go right, fuck it, bite me. Yeah,
that was
but-
the only cringe moment of the whole movie.
but I know why they did it. That guy is. I can see that guy saying that.
Yeah, because he's a badass that's a scared little kid inside. It's his, you know what I
Right.
mean? He's not the killing machine he wants to be.
Right.
Yeah.
But he thinks that having this done to him can elevate him.
Given a choice
Right.
of death or a chance to rule the whole vampire kingdom, this is what he selects.
Right. I can't go to a 9 on this yet. I don't think, but I think I could do an 8.5. So
Okay.
I like this one a lot, man. This was just a lot of fun, and I think it's one of those movies that your casual horror fans will like. You don't, but your hardcore horror fans will like too, with a couple of exceptions.
Literally has everything for
the
everybody.
gatekeepers. We can't make the gatekeepers happy, but
Gatekeepers they'll bitch about a little bit more than we did, but
right.
There's not much to bitch about, man. It's just a a well-crafted, great story.
Yeah. So 8, right? 8.
Yep, 8 and 8.5.
Since we are talking about next episode is going to be top 5 vampire kids, Ziggy, would Abigail make your list? You don't have to completely confirm, but
There's a great fucking chance Abigail's making my list. A great chance.
Great chance. Okay. FaZe, what about you? Are you jumping on this list with us too, or?
Oh, I'm sure I will. I gotta, look at the list of some, kid vampire movies and just see. I don't know if I've even seen that many.
I love my
I can
list.
see this making the list for sure.
It's going to be hard to put them in order, though, is my problem.
I got you.
I may have some homework this week.
Yeah, without doing a whole shit ton of research, I think she could probably be on my list. Maybe as a honorable mention, but I think she might even make the top 5 because I was impressed. Abigail's a badass, man.
Nice.
Just her intelligence comes through her eyes, and it's fucking believable, man.
Well, and the toying. I love the toying.
And that line, of course.
And the line.
Yeah, the line at the end is the best, man.
And I also love the fact that it wasn't Lambert or Lazar that was bringing those people really to him. It was her fucking idea. She was just so bored. She wanted to find 5 assholes that have fucked over my dad at some point and bring them my way. One last time, let us thank our members, our final girls and guys, Chris, Lorena, BD, and Tyrone, our Crazy Ralphs, Dr. Smiley, Raymond, and the whole damn Enchilada podcast. And our camp counselors, 42nd Street Pete, Corey, Luke, Michigan Dave, Jimmy and Rachel, Stacy Lynn, Orlando, Patricia, Kristen, and JJ.
All right, wait. Everybody be quiet. Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay, it was clapping, but somehow
It was 15 seconds of dead air there.
Yep. There you go.
That was absolutely nothing. So
Me just going.